my friends, and welcome to the latest edition of To The Point podcast. I'm here with the wonderful Mrs. Kathy Addis.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Well, we are brand new in studio. We're on episode 3 or 4, somewhere in there.
I don't know.
But we had to start off a little on the fly because of all the changes. So what do you think of the new digs?
I like it.
It's really nice.
I like it, yeah.
You know, it's all that kind of showmanship because we'll post a picture if anybody's interested. It's the actual corner of the craft room.
Yeah.
If you want to know what this really is, it looks nice now, but it's just the corner of the craft room.
It's the Cross Point way.
That's right.
No space is wasted.
Yeah, that's right. And you do more with less, right?
That's right.
That's where we are. But speaking of that, we're wanting to capitalize on the resources. We've been in the midst of a series. If you haven't been a part of this, let me catch you up. To the Point is the two of us trying to make a point here at Cross Point, but trying to do so as Priscilla and Aquila did in the New Testament, where they wanted to explain the Word of God more fully. And what we're doing currently in this mini-series here at the beginning of this very first season is we're talking about all the different ways that we can fall back into routines that are healthy and happy and whole for us. And it's been kind of a good journey so far. Some challenging stuff, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. And so now we move to probably one of the more difficult things in the life of many small families that are trying to put all the pieces together, guarding your calendar. Oh, did you ever just look when the boys were growing up at the calendar and think, I give up?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
In what seasons was it the most difficult for us? From your perspective?
From my perspective, probably now in fall when we had back to school, then immediately band, and then all of the competitions in school, and then making sure they get up to go to school and they do their homework.
And just trying to get back into those rhythms and routines on top of the added things that are on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a scheduling nightmare, and that's why I want to talk about it, because every family has to deal with this.
Sure.
You are not alone, and when you think, here's the deal: never met anybody who thought, "Man, we just got this done. It's wrapped up. Yeah. It's easy."
Now there are some who are better at it than others.
Yeah, true.
But I don't know any of them.
Even if you're better at it, it's just not easy. So, what was the impetus for this? As we're looking at different things, we kind of come from a culture that is, here's the spark rather for this episode. We come from a culture that almost always more is better. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to your calendar, when it comes to time, when it comes to those issues, better is the only thing that's better.
Yeah.
And so more actually has the ability to, like, more money, that's better, right? More resources, oh, that's great. But no, more stuff on the calendar. As a matter of fact, here is the study. The American College of Pediatrics links higher levels of participation in activities to increased anxiety in children. I would say, let alone parents.
Yeah.
Say
I believe that.
More
100%.
leads to more anxiousness, more worry, more stress.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do stuff. There are going to be things that we do. There's no doubt. But how do we get a gauge on, how do we guard it so that it's the best stuff?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
I have a verse of scripture, and there's all kinds of stuff that we could look at. Use your time wisely, for the days are evil. Be still and know that I am God, to calm down in that moment. But there's a verse in Psalm chapter 90, verse 12. It's just one little verse, but I want to use it as kind of the springboard for our discussion. So why don't you go ahead and read it in the NLT? Can you see it over there?
Yes.
Kind of lean into the mic and turn your head.
Yes. No, it's not that. It's just the verse itself.
Oh, okay.
It's
so you go ahead, and then I'll do it in ESV.
Okay. Teach us to realize the brevity of life so that we may grow in wisdom.
And yours actually is harsher. That sounds scary.
That's why. That's the look when I started.
The ESV says this: so teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom. And I love it because this passage is literally saying, number your days, think about them, value them, strategically and intentionally work through your days, that it's actually an act of worship. It's a part of obedience to look at your days, and what? In that process, you're seeking wisdom, that you may get a heart, a heart of wisdom, because God cares about your play date schedule.
Yeah.
And God cares about your athletic schedule. And God cares about whether you're getting enough sleep and how much time you have for him and how much you have time you have for each other.
Yeah.
How much time you have.
Yeah.
God actually cares. And so he wants you to have
Yeah.
wisdom on this.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. And for me, time has always been, it's been a thing that I've read lots of books on it. We've done lots of experiments.
Mm-hmm.
You've helped me through several things because I have this horrible tendency to say yes to too many things.
It's true.
It's true. And then you have the consequences of saying that yes, and okay, we're not going to do that anymore. And then we set up some principle. But what you need more than a strict set of rules or guidelines is a heart of wisdom from the Lord as to how we number our days. How do we intentionally handle this? So if you're just kind of letting days come at you, then your days are handling you, which I think is what happens in a lot. I talk to so many moms at the beginning of the year who just have this look like it should be the end of the year already.
Yeah.
Because what's happened is that it's all come at them. You weren't a Star Wars person at all, but did you watch Star Wars enough to know when they clicked into hyperspace, what it looked like on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
What did it look like?
Just like the streaks of white.
Yeah, the stars are going.
It's
I get that sense when I talk to a lot of young parents that they're going like, we just got handed the schedule for this, and we just got handed the schedule for that, and we just clicked into, we're now in hyperdrive.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just going to say it, more is not better.
Yeah.
Better is better, and God teaches us to intentionally number our days and do so to get a heart of wisdom. So that's where we begin. Sound good?
Yeah, that's kind of feels like the end of it. Like that's where we should end. But
well, it is. So let's talk about the New Testament. We're in an Old Testament where it's talking about number your days, but the New Testament has this interesting concept of time. And it uses a couple of different words. When you see time, it's usually either kairos or chronos. And these two are both legitimate. One's not right, one's not wrong, but they're very different. Chronos is like, you and I were doing this. We were timing something before we got in here, and I was watching the little seconds tick off on my little Apple Watch here. That's a chronograph. That's that tick, tick,
Right.
tick, tick. That's the ticking of a clock. That is chronos. But kairos is a word that means time as well, but it doesn't mean starts here, ends here. It means a moment that actually means something. Let me give you the actual definition. Kairos refers to a decisive or transforming or critical time, whereas chronos is just the ticking off of time. Now, everybody has chronos down. We know we got to get up. We know we got to go to bed.
Yeah.
We can only fit so much in. But to use wisdom in guarding your calendar and figuring that out is to identify and pursue those kairos moments. So, yes, we're going to be busy, but how do I cut out some busy so that our family has some kairos, intentional, important moments together? How do we do this so that as an individual, I can have some downtime that is impactful and meaningful in changing of who I am? What it really means is the scripture for us is Psalm 90, verse 12, but the point is this. How do you number your days so that you have room for the kairos moments and the chronos moments don't overtake everything? Because if you don't do something, if you're not intentional about that, the world will suck the life out of you via your calendar.
Sure.
They'll just take it out of you. I remember once, and this was a good thing, but let's go back. This was a good thing, but you were the band president. You loved being involved and helping. But you started something that's still going to this day. I'm so proud of you. You know what I'm talking about?
I did not start it. I was president when it started. And
it's your fault.
Yeah, it might be.
No, it's a good thing.
No, it's a good thing. It is a good thing.
It was a fundraiser.
It was a fundraiser for the band, yes.
And tell me about it. What was it? 'Cause I'm going to draw out of this. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. What it was the fireworks stand that started, I think it was the 27th of June and went through the 4th of July.
Doesn't seem like long.
Not that big a deal.
Not that big a deal.
Oh my gosh. It was like every waking moment, it felt like. And because someone had to be there with it at all times. Yeah. Around the clock.
I spent one night with one son, one night with another son.
Yes. And we fought storms and
there was a night we thought we were going to die.
Yeah, trying to keep who knows how many thousands of dollars worth of fireworks dry in a thunderstorm. That was brilliant. And it was extraordinarily time consuming.
It was. I mean, and you were super stressed. It was something you'd never done before, so you had the added, we're doing all this stuff for the first time.
And we were trying to get, like, if students helped, then they got part of the money to go towards their in particular. And so there was a lot of paperwork, which that is not my strength. And so, yeah, it was stressful.
And in all of this, it was chronos. It kept ticking off. It was like, it's just from this day to this day, but then it was so much prep, and then you have cleanup, and then you have the work around it. And
yeah.
So in the middle of all this, and I'll just be straight up, not my favorite activity. It was well worth it. It was a good thing.
Yeah, it was
kids
great.
got experience. They made some money, and we supplied some red, white, and blue action for some people. So all that was good. But in the middle of it, there was just an exhaustion that we did something. I don't know if you remember this. There was one night that I believe it was Nathan and I were going to spend the night out there, but we invited you and Noah to come and just sit on lawn chairs. After it had closed, we're sitting there on 30th Street. Oh, yeah, it was the middle of the night. Yeah. And we ate and we laughed and we had a great time. And in the middle of that chronos exhaustion, we carved out about a 2-hour kairos moment. And I still look back on that. We've got pictures of Nathan in his bucket hat and Noah standing in the bed of the truck and us just hanging out there on 30th Street. Because that wasn't a work moment. That was a kairos moment. That was a family moment. We laughed, we played. And if we hadn't carved that out of all of that, I would have said, it's just not worth it. But because of that, the rest of it became worth it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
Kairos
absolutely.
versus chronos. Because we're all going to suffer from that time. Help me out. What are some of your favorite times that didn't just happen, that were intentional as the boys were growing up, that we set this aside? These are things that we did. These are things that we do, things that if we didn't put them on the calendar, if we didn't plan them, they weren't going to happen.
I think about the first year, especially, that we got our camper. Gosh,
and we made
10 years ago or so, 12 years ago, I guess.
It was a lot longer than that.
It was a long time ago. I don't know. I don't know. Time is relative, but we went every month, at least once every month, that first year especially. And we did. I think we missed 2 months, and one of those was because we were at camp for nearly the entire month.
In the trailer.
And yes. Well, you and I were. They were at camp. But I think those are some of my most favorite times.
And you weren't doing anything when we were doing that. We were going to a place and we were just hanging out, eating s'mores, playing games. And it was totally non-productive, except it was the most productive thing that we could get done. Yeah. And those are I think you nailed it. Those are the things that when he says number your days, you say you're going to be busy every day of the summer. So we're going to carve out 2 days every month. We're going to carve out a weekend every month. We're going to make sure that we do this so that we have that time. And you don't let the schedule run you, but you run the schedule. Yeah. And that's what this is all about. How do we get to that place? I think about Wednesday nights. We changed life. That was a regular, because it's going to sound like I'm making it up. You go ahead and tell us. How did Wednesday nights go for us as a pastoral family that we used to do midweek service?
Yes, we did midweek service. Yes, we did. And we did Awana.
Yes, and youth group. It was all happening on Wednesdays.
And all at once, the grown-ups, the middle-ups, and the lower-ups. I don't know. Anyway, all in the same building, all being taught, and it was chaos for probably 3 straight hours, it felt like. And then at the end, because I was in charge of Awana and the boys were in youth group, and then you had the adults, we would get together and meet. Very often we were meeting in different cars. Sometimes it was all 4 cars at church, which is crazy. We would all meet at Village Inn afterwards.
It's free pie night.
It's free pie night.
Fruit pies are free with an entree at Village Inn every Wednesday.
That's right. It is. But so it started with us, and then we started inviting another couple that were in our grow group, and they had 2 girls, and then it was their 2 girls and their friends' girls, or
friends of their girls.
And then it was our boys, and then 2 or 3 or 4 of their friends.
We took up like half the restaurant.
We did, but every night, I bet what did we have?
We did
Probably
that for a
12
couple
or
of years.
12 or 14 people
Yeah.
every Wednesday night.
And it became a thing where kids that we didn't even know would look at us and go, "Hey, we going to Village Inn
Hey,
tonight?"
can we get? We're like, are your folks paying? Because
They never did.
But no, they never did. But it was so good. It was very intergenerational for one thing. Even though we as the grown ups sat on one end and just stared at the under of the table like, what are you doing?
But it was very much entertaining.
It really was very entertaining. Yeah.
It was just and again, it was a moment. You could have gone home. You could have done homework.
Sure, it would have been cheaper to go home.
Could have grabbed something on the drive-thru.
Absolutely.
But that was a Kairos moment that happened every week. It was intentional.
Yes.
And we talked about it. So this is expensive. This is an expense worth expending.
Yeah. We cut other places so that we could go to dinner on Wednesday nights.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally worth it.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about now. How do you keep from letting the TikTok chronos overtake your life and run your life and let you back in the driver's seat, where you start planning some Kairos moments where you're saying, okay, this is critical, this is intentional, this is how we live. Now, you do that for yourself. You do that between you and the Lord. You do that for you and your family. And as an adult with kids in the house, sometimes you do it for them too. Mm-hmm. Not just, this is a family thing. Sometimes you go, you're just in over your head.
Yeah.
And we're going to help you with this.
Yeah.
So that's the point, that that as we look at the scripture, that we would number our days, that we would think about this, and that we would get a heart of wisdom to have those intentionally decision made, hard things. Don't do this so you can do that moments. And that's really the point. But beyond that, what's our 2 cents? Let me just give you a couple ideas as to what we might be able to do. I've done some research and found, what can families do that will help them in getting control of their calendar? And we're just going to roll through these, and you respond to them as a mom, an empty nester. So you've done all ages. You've been heavily invested in the lives of kids. You know what this is like, but help us out. Start with priorities, not activities. When you're talking about getting a hold of your calendar, most people say, what is everything we have to do? And then they ladle themselves down with heavy burdens tied on their backs.
Yeah.
But what if before you ever did that, you said, what are our family priorities? What is the motto of this family? What are we shooting for?
Yeah.
And then we decide what activities go into it.
Yeah. Is church more important than your whatever game? Is Sunday morning at 11 o'clock going to be the time that we do this? Everything else has to go around that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I mean, Wednesday night, or some is challenge going to be the most important thing for you?
Yeah, but even that, I'm just going to challenge you on this, because that becomes activities too. Is it Sunday morning 11? Is it Monday night challenge? The priority has got to be, what activities are going to support the most important things in our life?
I gotcha.
Yeah. How do we as a family say, this is who we are and this is what we do? And we start with priorities. And then we start going, okay, well, you can now have family discussion. We agree these are our priorities. This takes away from this. Can we do that? Oh, man, we can't do that. There's no way. Or absolutely, this really supports that, because we start with priorities. Second, how about this? You block your time. You don't just list it. Again, when you let activities drive you, you put things on the calendar and then you go, I can't fit anything else in. I have something on my calendar, and if you don't know what it is, it looks funny. I have block days. I have strategic block days. I have strategic blocks during the week. I have buffer blocks, and those are there. And you say, well, can I meet with you then? Sorry, can't do that because I'm busy. Well, what are you doing? Well, it's a strategic block. I need this. This is when I do this thing. If I don't have this block, it's never going to get done. I have to preach every week.
Right.
It takes a significant amount of time to prep. And there are a number of people who would love to have conversations or activities or come see this. And if I don't block that time off, then I can't do the thing that is on my priority list.
Yeah.
Right? In the same way with your family, you can say your kids are the most important thing in the world, but if your kids' schedule drives them away from you, then are your kids' activities the most important thing in the world, or are your kids the most important thing in the world?
That's tough.
And so from the beginning, just create block times. This is family time. This is family dinner night. This is family day once a month. This is what we do. And you put it on the calendar, and it's an immovable object. And when people want to schedule over that, you go, man, we just can't. Now, there's always a room for mom or dad to overrule. We can do something if we need to, right? But for you to say, let's block these things in and not let the list overtake us.
Yeah.
Powerful?
I like it.
But
it just feels really hard to do.
Yeah, why is that? Because I think you're going to voice what a lot of people are feeling.
Well, because I think our kids, there are things that our kids really want to do, and we want to, bottom line, we really want to make them happy and make them feel fulfilled and all of this that allow them to be a part of those things. But I think on the other side of that coin, it's helping them to realize and understand the value of family, right. Value as a priority.
Intentional.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some hard stuff because kids are being sold on a regular basis that this is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
That this is what everybody else is doing. And we have to guard the calendar.
Yeah.
This is part of falling back into those routines. And for so long, and it's harder to take back than to give out. So if for years you've been just whatever the calendar says, we're going to do this, it's going to be difficult to make some of those decisions. There's going to have to be some compromises. But to set up, maybe it's just a single buffer block of this is family time. Let's agree to this. I love you so much. We're going to do all this other stuff, but we are going to do this. And we're going to create a Kairos moment where this means something.
Yeah.
And put it on the calendar. Just put it on the calendar. That changes everything, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it does.
Establish weekly rhythms. We talked about Wednesday nights being something really important. There are very often people whose schedules are driven by forces outside them, and if they let that happen, now take back control. What are some weekly rhythms that you can build in? I think church would be a great one of those. I think Saturday morning pancakes, if you can do that. What you used to, speaking of pancakes, you used to get up early when the kids were in grade school. You made pancakes like 5 days a week.
Every day.
Every day.
Oh my gosh. They didn't want anything else but pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes.
But that became a routine where the kids who didn't want to get up would get up. Because if they didn't, they missed pancakes.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
it was sixth grade too. That was a tough one.
Oh, that was tough. I don't want to go back there. No. Let's have a moment of silence for all those with sixth graders this year. Amen. Thank you so much. There you go. So establishing weekly rhythms. This one's really important. We don't have a lot of time. What I'll do is I'm going to try and remember to post on this the whole list of potential ideas. But this one's really important, I think. Protect margin. Now, margin is, if you play basketball, I made the joke this weekend that I love football season because it means basketball's almost here. I'm more of a basketball guy. The greatest shooters in the world are guys who create space, right? They got a defender on them, but they can do that drop back. They can do that fade away. They can do that pump fake and get some distance between them and a defender. And in that gap, in that margin is where they can do magic. That's what we need. We just don't have any margin. If you've ever felt like you're burning the candle at both ends, I'm going from here to there, I can't stop, this is just craziness, then you don't have any margin. And what you need to do is start building that in and then protect it. So, for an example, you and I have struggled this last year. I've traveled more than I've wanted to travel. Yeah. And I traveled because I did not obey this commandment. I wasn't intentionally thinking. I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. Oh, yeah, you want me over there? We can. And I realized that I was saying, yes, I could be here, and yes, I could be there. And there wasn't even enough travel time in between to logically get. I fretted for months because of a single layover that I thought was going to ruin my whole summer.
For the rest of forever. Yes. Months over this one flight.
Why are you looking at the camera, not looking at me? Because
I want you to understand this was months.
And there was no way to fix it. It was the way the flights were because I had booked these things so close. And it just, and then it was absolutely fine. So it wasn't. But what that taught me was I can't book things back to back. Matter of fact, I need to make sure that my priority is right here. So I'm only going to be gone this. And we set up some rules. And those rules do one thing. They create margin.
Yeah.
They still do what you need to do, and they get you where you need to go. But listen, if you're available to everybody all the time, then you're available to nobody any of the time.
Yeah.
That's the way that works. And so you have to create that margin intentionally. And you know what that is? That's that heart of wisdom. That's what it is.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, I've talked way too much. There's a few more on here, but we're kind of at the end of this episode to protect people's time and calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've always been a little different with time, haven't you? Your 2 cents on this, I've given my 2 cents, but we've handled schedules differently. One of the things that you have learned to do, and I've been very proud of you, is backdating or kind of saying, oh, because your big thing was always, I can get that done in the next hour. How
hard can it be?
Yeah, those are the last words.
It's
before
always
our
the
fight.
hardest. Yeah, but yes.
And so you've learned to do what now when you look at a project?
To try to take a more realistic view of how long it's going to take.
And you literally start going, it'll take me this long to do this long to do that. And then when you get done, you're like, oh, wow, I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
And I just cry. There's a little tear comes right down to my eye. I'm like, I'm so thankful.
Yeah, I cry too. Because I really want to. I really want to do it.
Well, and that's wisdom is what that is. That's years of experience and a couple household fights and wisdom coming out of you. Doesn't that sound good?
Yes.
All right. I know you're not thrilled with that, but that is the absolute truth.
It is.
That's what we're dealing with. That is what it means to guard your calendar. Your calendar will own you if you don't own your calendar, especially you young families. People are handing you schedules and fill in the blank and make sure you don't miss this. I'm going to say it right now. There's some stuff you can miss.
Yep. Right on.
When you know what your priorities are and you put those on top, then everything else can fit in around that.
Yep.
And so we have to guard the calendar and create those moments out of wisdom that aren't just the clock ticking by. They are those kairos moments that mean everything. Mm-hmm. So many blessings to you. We'll see you again real soon on another episode of To the Point.
Bye.
Bye-bye.